CompuSoft Digital's ideation webinars. We'll be starting in just a moment. About 2 minutes. We have quite a few people rolling in, so we're going to give everybody just a second, and then we'll get started. Hey everyone, just as a reminder, we'll get started in a minute or two. Got quite a few people continuing to roll in, so thanks for joining us today. Right, we'll get started in another minute. All right, still got a lot of people rolling in, so we'll go ahead and kick off and get started. So from that standpoint, just wanted to thank everyone for attending CompuSoft Digital's ideation webinars. We do these every month. This one today is about driving high performance and agentic AI customer experiences to empower your NPS, CSAT, and CX scores, which at times can be elusive, but we're going to talk about best practices on how to get to those outcomes. So again, welcome everyone for attending. This webinar will be recorded. So after the webinar, we'll get the recording out and the PDF and PowerPoint presentation out, and we do have some supporting blogs as well. So on the next slide, we're going to discuss just a little bit about your host. So CompuSoft Digital, we are a #1 AI Microsoft Frontier Transformation partner. We've been in business for about 25 years, 500 global employees, and a follow the sun delivery model. On the next slide, we're going to speak to just very quickly some of the solutions that we deliver. We're fanatically focused on AI, Copilot, Azure AI, autonomous agents, which we're going to cover today. We're actually going to show how these work real time. In addition, we are a BizApps, GSI as well. We focus on all the D365 apps, specialize in customer service, contact center, field service, sales, marketing, F&O, and those types of things. In addition, we also help companies deliver modern data, Fabric, Databricks, Purview, to get ready for that AI autonomous agent transformation. So enough about us. We're going to go ahead and jump in and get the webinar started. So today we're going to talk about how Microsoft is driving agentic AI and agent transformational shifts to empower your service ambassadors and frontline workers. Look, these are the face of your organization when we have conflict. So we need to make sure that we give them access to the tools they need to provide that superior level of service. And this has a direct brand correlation. So this is important. Apanya is going to cover that. Then what we're going to do is we're going to show the high performance Microsoft agents in action. We're going to talk about global case management and omni-channel personalized interactions. How can you differentiate using these types of tools? And then we're going to have about 20 minutes for a fireside chat. If you want to introduce a question, please put it in the Q&A section, or you can put it in the chat. We will try to get through all of them as best we can. If we can't, then we will respond after the webinar to the audience with the response to the questions. So let's get started. Let me introduce the presenters real quick. Just want to say a big thank you to Apanya for joining us. She is the enterprise AI leader, for business apps, very busy. She's the one that continues to evolve the product. I mean, heads down, meeting with customers and product teams and analysts and, putting up with John and I and everything in between. So Apanya, thank you so much for joining. Very much appreciate it. Myself, Greg Moser, president of CompuSoft Digital, and then John Rossi, who's our CTO. John and I have been working with the product since 2003 pre-release, and he leads our strategy. So let's get the party started. So next slide, we're going to kind of talk about some of the reasons why CX is important. And I'm not going to bleed this slide, but we all know that CX is shifting, right? And with the power of agentic AI, we're transforming at speeds that we haven't been able to do over the technology bell curve over the years. But we know that experience leads growth. Everybody is pushing the agentic AI story, and it all comes down to data-driven personalization. So, as a focus, you have to have CX in your strategy. If not, you'll become irrelevant. And using these tools, which we'll illustrate in just a few, we'll show you how to do that. So one of the things on the next slide that I'm often asked is, why are contact centers and service centers so difficult to deploy? And when you look at some of the dependencies around, number of applications on average that users leverage, you have 6 to 8 applications on average that a customer service, a contact center, or field service agent have to navigate on a day-to-day basis, that typically isn't well documented. You have 3 to 5 apps in high-performing firms, so that's the baseline. And then system switching can take 10 seconds to 3 minutes. So think about that. 100 interactions, 5,000 interactions, 50,000 interactions. And then when you look at the loaded costs of a customer service agent, multiply by those minutes, I mean, you're talking about hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, millions of dollars, just switching the disparate islands of data. Turnover doesn't help as well. So these are the things that typically get in your agentic AI strategy to really drive NPS, CSAT, and other KPIs and things like that. Now, why are we struggling? If we kind of click through, the next couple slide or next couple sections, we can go ahead and just kind of build the next 2 out, John. Or next 3. We can keep going. Just one more. This is what we struggle with on a day-in basis. So you have 6 to 8 applications on average. You have multiple channels that people are interacting with you on, and a lot of those channels are segmented. Then you throw in multiple business units, and those business units could have their own channels. And then you put processes on top of that. And then you have all these exceptions, these one-off inquiries and processes and, use cases and things like that. And at the end of the day, what you get is a giant bowl of spaghetti. And this is what we struggle with, trying to bridge those islands of data to unify that data collection so that we can provide that superior level of service, leverage agentic AI to help us, through things like self-service and knowledge base and things along those lines. So we are going to cover those topics today. We're going to talk about how to bridge those islands into that unified view. So we're going to do a very quick poll. And then after that, Apanya is going to take over, and she's going to talk about all the amazing things she's doing from a Microsoft perspective. So, Sahil, if you want to open up the poll, we'll get that started. Now, the poll is, what is the biggest barrier preventing you from achieving high-performance CX outcomes today? Is it the islands of data? Is it turnover and workload issues? Is it lack of real-time personalization? Or is it difficulties in measuring the solution? So if everybody wants to put in their responses, we'll just give it 30 seconds and then start watching the polls come in. Wow. Yeah. Data, 74% islands of data. I mean, it's common. When you look at the Microsoft ecosystem with Fabric and Purview, being able to get those islands into that data set so that you can consume it, this is something that we have conversations every day. Turnover, that is definitely a nuisance. Costs you $29K to onboard a net new agent. Then personalization, you got to start thinking about that. That's how you differentiate. And then, yeah, with the islands of data, how do you get the reporting out of it? Interesting. Okay, great Great poll, great answers. Thanks everyone for participating. So with no further ado, I'm going to turn over to Apanya, and Apanya, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Greg. Super excited to be a part of this webinar today. Talking to customers, engaging with customers is one of the best parts of my job. So thank you for hosting me once again, Greg and John. Really appreciate it. Let's get into the meat of the section as soon as possible. But a quick recap and summary of what Greg mentioned. This is what I'm also hearing in the number of conversations that I am part of with my customers, SI partners, and as well as analysts. Customer engagement pressures are certainly mounting, and the existing tools, processes, teams, they're struggling to keep up. This is the reality of the organizations we are living in today. Their end customer expectations are rising like anything, more so because now they have exposure to agentic and AI capabilities such as ChatGPT. All those things are so much democratized, so they've got a taste of it. Second key thing is the service rep burnout is real. The turnover is still massive in double digits. And despite years of digital transformations that organizations have gone through, leaders still don't have the visibility that they need of the KPIs that matter to the business. Bottom line, these are not small isolated problems. These are systematic problems. And this is exactly what we'll cover in the section as to what are these problems and how Microsoft ecosystem, contact center, and AI will help you address some of the needs out here. Greg covered this. This is a typical customer engagement stack that we are seeing today. Bolted, seams, appears everywhere. And this stack isn't built for today's pressure. And moreover, on top of the stack, now organizations are trying to apply AI layer on each box, and that AI layer is not talking to each other. So it gives you a very broken experience wherein your end customer experience is inconsistent, you lose employee productivity, and in the end, it causes inefficient operations. It causes friction at every touch point. Not just that, there are systemic tectonic shifts that AI is bringing into the ecosystem. From platforms to people, the entire operating model and expectation is shifting at such a rapid pace that organizations are not able to keep up with it. AI is changing how CX gets done, consolidated service stacks are in, and mind you, capacity is going up because of AI productivity, but headcount is not. And that's where AI is completely reshaping customer engagement. Few years back, we were on conversational AI and rule-based AI. That's where NLUs, natural language understanding, natural language processing, speech to text, text to speech, how we process all that was very critical and crucial. That's conversational AI. From then, the generation of AI moved to the next phase, which was generative AI. That's where the creator's economy came in. Like, how can we auto-generate the text? How can we auto-generate images? How can we auto-generate content? When we talk about content, can we save time with humans tasks, with supervisor tasks through generative AI? And then came agentic AI. Like, can we completely offload the orchestration part of it, the logical thinking part of it, the judgment part of it, the learning loops part of it? So the AI has rapidly evolved in terms of the generations and phases. And that's exactly what we are doing at Microsoft, wherein we are building a platform that is intentionally purpose-built for the next generation of workforce. As part of the next generation of workforce, your AI agents, your co-pilots, and your humans, they all work together very seamlessly to provide faster, smarter outcomes. Very quickly, when we talk about contact center especially, we always go back to the basics. Basics in terms of what are the business goals that we're trying to achieve, who are the different personas in the ecosystem who are helping us achieve those business goals, what are the jobs that they do in their day-to-day life, and how can we reimagine those jobs with AI? And if we reimagine those jobs with AI, can AI measurably move the needle on the KPIs that matter to the business? If yes, go reimagine with AI. Else, build it with the traditional way. So when we think about the end-to-end customer journey, our key goal is to infuse AI and agentic capabilities at every step of the journey, starting from AI first channels to adding all the generations of AI in self-service so that you can increase your containment rate, to adding AI inside unified routing so that you can find the best human agent to talk to the customer when in need. And not just that, for your human agents, for assisted service, we provide a complete customer 360-degree information wherein your human agents get transcription, translation. They get sentiment indicators, they get conversation summaries. Not just that, as part of agentic transformation, we empower your human agents with AI agents and co-pilots that can assist them do their job better and that can empower them to even offload some of their drudgery work items to AI agents. We have case management agent, which will auto-populate and create the cases. We have knowledge management agent, which will continue to monitor the conversation as it goes and automatically draft knowledge articles. And the biggest advantage that you get with Microsoft is two things. First and foremost, we have built an ecosystem where learning loops are part of the end-to-end process and lifecycle. So you don't have to add it as a bolt-on. Second, very important, especially for sensitive industries and enterprise customer segment, is enterprise-grade quality and governance. Those are the two key differentiators apart from being the AI leader that comes with Microsoft. Moving on very quickly, at this moment, we have 4 key agents in GA available: customer intent agent, knowledge management agent, case management agent, and quality evaluation agent. Customer intent agent is the one that allows you to discover intents from the past conversations across all channels and power the Dynamics Evergreen self-service, routing, and assisted service. We are completely transforming the space with new multimodal real-time LLM models. This is going to come up very shortly. The new multimodal LLM models are already in preview. It's going to land in GA very soon, which will completely eliminate the multi-step journey that we have with voice processing. So in the previous world, when a voice audio stream comes, the audio stream is transcribed into text. Text is what is processed. And once it is processed, we generate a response in text, and that text gets converted into audio. So this was the previous model. With the new LLM-based real-time speech model, you can directly process the audio and you can cut short all the interim steps in between. Audio in, audio gets processed, audio gets out. This drastically enhances the latency experience that your end customers get. Not only that, with such great advancements on natural language, large language models, it also gives you the power to bring in more sympathy, empathy, tone, control the voice accent. All those things are going to get radically transformed. So that's the evolutionary path of customer intent agent, wherein customer intent agent will get evolved into a multimodal, real-time agent that is powered by new LLM models. All this is based on top of Microsoft Copilot Studio, wherein you can go author it with a very point-and-click experience, which gives you the power to manage it in a very seamless way. You will not need PhD scholars or hundreds of developers to create a conversational IVR. Gone are those days. The second key thing is customer knowledge management agent. So most of the organizations always have these star human representatives who have some tricks up their sleeve with which they are able to contain customer escalations. They are able to provide customers with the answers that they're looking for with the fidelity and the speed that drives a great customer satisfaction. Most of the organizations that we spoke to, they mentioned that they want to ensure that they're able to replicate those skills across all of their remaining human reps as well. Knowledge management agent helps you do just that. Knowledge management agent listens to the entire conversation. It drives how your superstar agents, human agents, are able to address customers' needs, creates a knowledge article out of it automatically, and surfaces that knowledge article to your knowledge managers. Knowledge managers just have to review that knowledge article. If they find everything great, with one click, they can publish that knowledge article. If they want to edit something, they'll have the flexibility to edit something. And once it is published, the customer intent agent is automatically linked to the knowledge base. So learning loops will kick in and ensure that all your remaining human representatives have access to the same tricks, tips that your superstar human agents are using to resolve customers at a much faster pace. Not only that, these knowledge articles are also available for your self-service call segment, thereby increasing your containment right within your self-service and not even having the need to escalate to human agents. So that's what knowledge management brings you, the capabilities. The next one is case management agent. On an average, when we talk to customers, we hear that once the conversation is done, the human reps roughly spend between 4 to 6 minutes manually creating the cases. That's what we are hearing from our customer conversations. I'm sure that must be the case with very many of you as well. So what case management agent does is that it automatically parses that entire conversation and it pre-fills the case and it pre-creates the case. Saves roughly about 6 minutes for human representatives. Human representatives now just have to review the case. If everything is okay, with a push of a button, they can create the case. If they want to make any inline edits, they can make inline edits as well. That is the power of case management agent, saving roughly about 6 minutes per conversation for the human agent productivity. When you translate that into the number of agents that you have in your ecosystem and the number of cases that you deal with, this directly brings millions of dollars of savings into your contact center operations. The last one that you see is quality evaluation agent. Super important and very, very critical in some sensitive industries wherein it is a compliance mandate to ensure that you maintain and you audit the quality of your conversations. So what quality evaluation agent brings you is an evaluation framework as part of which you can define your own evaluation criteria, your own evaluation plan, and quality evaluation agent operates at scale with AI, running those evaluation criteria based on the defined evaluation plan that you authored on conversations, both after the conversation is done as well as real time. The power of real time is that it provides an ability for your human agents to constantly get coached with the help of AI. Most of the customers I have spoken to have loved this feature because historically, what we have seen is that in enterprise customer segment base, there is roughly about 1:20 to 1 to even 60 when it comes to quality managers to human agent ratio. And most of the times you do samples, you never do at scale because human capacity is limited. With AI, you can do it at scale, the scale that you like. You can do it at a pace that you like. And with real time, you have the power to influence the customer conversations and drive up the satisfaction right at the moment when it matters. So that's quality evaluation agent. And most importantly, we spoke about how we are creating the platform, which is purpose-built for the next generation workforce. We spoke about the different AI agentic capabilities, the ones that we have today, the ones where we are focusing in the roadmap. The third key pillar that I want to talk about is the fact that Microsoft provides a scalable ecosystem because these apps, be it Dynamics Customer Service, Contact Center, Copilot Studio, they're all built on top of the same platform and ecosystem of Dataverse. You get away with data silos because in the new AI world, data is the king. AI feeds on data. So with the scalable Microsoft ecosystem, Microsoft provides you all the different apps that you need for your end-to-end customer engagements, be it service, sales, field service. If you want to connect to different CRMs, that is also available. So we provide you an option to go everything on Microsoft at the same time. We also focus on providing you a very extensible platform and a composable platform. That's where Dynamics Contact Center allows you to bring your own IVR, to bring your own CRM, to embed our conversation control in your own CRM. So we have a lot of integrations and extensibility points that are available in our product portfolio today that empowers you to go through a very iterative journey and not have to rip and replace your ecosystem in one shot. So we provide you multiple different on-ramp paths that ease out your migration journey. Now, with all those three key pillars that we are focusing on, what it provides you is an ability to go back and focus on the KPIs that matter to business and leave the technology hassles of bringing in AI, integrating AI, everything else to Microsoft. Because Microsoft is ensuring that AI is not a bolt-on, it is baked in and it is available at the places where it matters so that you can go focus on the KPIs that matter to your business. So go back to what matters, focus on the KPIs, focus on the scenarios, rest of the things, tech tool, we are here for you. And why other customers are choosing Microsoft is because one, most importantly, we give you the cloud that is battle tested. We give you the platform that is battle tested. You don't have to deal with 10 vendors. We empower you to deliver end-to-end customer experience on a single cloud. Not just that, we totally understand rip and replace in one shot is not possible. So in order to smoothen your journey, we provide an open and flexible platform that allows you to integrate with your existing tools and ecosystems. Not just that, the amount of focus that Microsoft is driving on AI, we are clearly one of the market leaders in the segment of AI with the innovations that we are bringing not only on the core AI, but most importantly, how we are bringing those innovations in different apps and engagement points that matter to the business. So these are the three key reasons why a lot of customers are choosing us. And with this, you get the power to turn your vision into action and to ensure that you can make every interaction with your end customers count, you can elevate your team's impact, and you can drive smarter operating system of your contact center that you can run more efficiently, more securely, and in a more scalable way. Not just our customers and Microsoft, industry leaders have validated this as well. Gartner Magic Quadrant, we were the leader when it comes to customer engagement center. Likewise, in Forrester, we rank as a leader in the customer relationship management software segment. On that note, thank you so much for having me again. I'll hang on for the Q&A, but back to John.
Yeah, Apanya, just it's amazing when you were talking about the evolution of conversational generative agentic AI. It's like a 3-year blur. As fast as you keep innovating. I mean, every year something is coming out new, and excited with what you're delivering. So thank you so much. And then for the next poll, where's your organization today in adopting agentic AI and Copilot within customer service operations? Are you exploring? Are you piloting? Are you scaling? Are you realizing the inherent benefits and value that agentic AI offers today? We'll give the poll just a second and see see how the everybody shapes up. Good, good. Yeah, looks like a lot of folks exploring, and I'm sure you're getting hit from all angles. There's a lot of piloting going on. This is Microsoft's end of the year, so there's ESIF funding that can help us do POC pilots and things like that. So feel free to reach out if you have any questions on the ESIF part or on the pilot part. Yeah. Seems like a lot of people are in the exploratory stages, 5% fully operational. Congratulations to those that are operational, and then 16% that are scaling. All right. Well, with that said, we're going to go ahead and turn it over to Mr. John Rossier, our CRO EVP of Strategy. So, John, over to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Greg and Alpanya. Thank you, everybody, for carving out some time today. So like Greg said, John Rastia, I mean, I've been doing contact center customer service now for 25 plus years, have really seen, this particular, departments and teams really transform, I would probably say radically within the past 10 years. So let me just kind of take you through a couple different scenarios here. One of the things I want to kind of start off with is how service organizations are at an inflection point right now. Customer expectations continue to rise while service teams face burnout, fragmented systems, as we kind of talked about before, and their operational complexity has really increased. The breakthrough is not incremental automation. It's agentic AI embedded across service anywhere workloads, which you see here, where Copilot and those autonomous agents operate as digital teammates across the contact centers, field service, self-service experiences, where self-service is no longer like deflection, it is delegation with intelligence. Modern customers expect to resolve issues on their own, on their terms, in their moment of need. Agent-powered self-service enables customers to book appointments, track requests, reschedule services, and resolve common issues without having to call support, while still being seamlessly escalated when human intervention, is going to add some value. And finally, personalization is no longer about greetings. It's about recognition and relevance. By unifying your customer data across sales, service, and operations, Copilot agents can be enabled across all these interactions to reflect who the customer is, what they want, and where they are, more importantly, in their journey. Service organizations across industries are really kind of converging on a shared reality. Traditional contact center models can no longer scale to meet those modern customer expectations. Rising demand, limited headcount, fragmented systems that we always kind of bring about, and inconsistent experiences have pushed service leaders toward a new operating mode. We're seeing that, that global service leaders have learned that simply by adding additional channels does not improve customers, experience. That trend is moving toward a more cloud-based omni-channel platform that unify voice, chat, SMS, digital messaging, and self-service into one single continuous experience. Across all these four trends that we kind of see AI and automation, omni-channel cloud contact centers, advanced analytics, and proactive personalization, we're kind of seeing that single pattern, start to emerge, where service is becoming a continuous learning system. It's powered by AI, governed by humans, and designed for scale. So when we look at this, I love the islands of data. I think that really kind of got, nearly 80% of our poll. So looking at that, most of our service organizations, don't suffer from a lack of data. They suffer from data fragmentation. Customer information is scattered across CRMs, contact center platforms, portals, ERP systems, field service tools, and quite like that on additional third-party applications. The result is slower resolution, inconsistent experiences, frustrated agents, and increased operational risk. So where can we get that? The global case management emerges as the unifying backbone, the glue, the continuity layer that connects data, processes, and people into a single operational model for service excellence. When customer data, and knowledge and workflows are unified with the global case management, AI and Copilot can operate in context, guiding those agents with relevant insights, next best actions, and automated case lifecycle support that Alpanya was just talking about. With all service interactions following through with global case management, leaders gain an end-to-end visibility into performance trends and risks. This transforms your analytics from being a static reporting into operational intelligence. By bridging the islands of data, organizations unlock faster resolutions, better experiences, stronger collaboration, smarter decisions, and built in, all within compliance while enabling AI and agentic capabilities to scale with confidence. Organizations that embrace this model are not just improving efficiency, they are future-proofing their service operations and really redefining customer trust at scale. Next thing what I'd like to do here is really kind of like, I'm going to walk through some demos here. I want to show you some things. I took some quick videos here. They're quick snapshots of a couple of these agents working. So as we really kind of, look into this a little bit, modern customer, journeys are no longer a straight line. Customers shift between self-service, assisted service, multiple channels, and what has changed, is honestly who does the work. With the Agentic AI, organizations are moving from individual tools to a virtual team of AI agents. In this example, we have a customer that's logged into the self-service website to log a problem that they're having with their laptop. But they use the chat channel and the agent queue pops up, available 24/7, where they can start asking questions to it, where they think they've got some issues, with their laptop. You can kind of see here, we can actually, type in information, doesn't have to be spelled correctly, too long, I didn't read it. They want to simplify this a little bit, keep it simple, right? So by telling it that, it can kind of drill down and say, hey, let me make it simple. But actually, after trying these a couple different things, they actually want to reach out to somebody to ask, someone with some deeper, questions that they have. So what it's going to do from here, it's going to transition now. Once you do this, it routes it to the next best available agent ready on their desktop to take this. Now, there's a lot of things that's going on here. So first of all, on that left-hand side, that's your entire chat. It's going to take all that chat information, provide you a conversational summary so you can get up to date. I can easily reach out to them, but you can see here, it's automatically created a case, saving a lot of time. It's taking the context from everything that's being chatted back and forth and creating and updating the case in real time, saving a lot of time. What's going to happen right now is now we have one of those intent agents that Panya was talking about, that now it already realizes it's talking about your laptop. It pulls in that information and starts to work with them in kind of like a triage, because it knows what questions to ask. As you can kind of see, just kind of like updating here, it's updating questions, automatically adding that chat question to the session that keeps the customer engaged. And again, maybe this is somebody that has never troubleshooted a Surface laptop before, but by using that intent agent, it's building all the context, all the questions that are needed to add over there. Its final question, it's asking for the serial number. Once it does that, you can actually see here automatically it uses the knowledge source agents to find the best knowledge source that's internal to help them run it. It's already put that information in that chat to the customer so they can easily do this. Now they're going to give them a try, and now they're just kind of saying thanks and goodbye. At this point, we've kind of wrapped everything up, given to them very quickly. I'm going to close it down. It's going to come back with a summary for CSAT information, NPS, whatever you want to capture here, it's going to grab that. In the background, you can kind of see they're working in their self-service, portal. So in real time, you can kind of see that case was automatically created. Now back to the agent, I have all my summary. I don't have to take any additional notes. It summarized the case here, information. So all my activities and note taking are completely done. I can now go ahead and close that out. And if I needed to do a connected chat with teams or other departments, I can easily do that. But I'm done from my side. The case has been created. The customer goes back to the service portal here. They close the case based upon everything else, and I'm good to go. Okay, so that's a really good, case right there, where we really just want to show a lot of these, customers interacting with not only your virtual, teammates, your digital teammates, and all in with human interactions. All that intent was taking those steps from past cases. This is AI working for you. This is not something we got to go build in the background. This is building itself based upon case resolutions on the same content. Okay. So as we kind of look at, next to that, we really want to kind of talk about, the omni-channel. And now this next one here, most service organizations are not short on channels or data. They're short on connections. Those customer interactions span voice, chat, SMS portals, social, field touch points, where the data lives in disconnected systems. The result sometimes is fragmented experiences, operational drag, and inconsistency across your brand delivery. Omnichannel service bridges these islands of data by unifying conversations, context, and intelligence into a single continuous service experience. I'm going to tell that in a little. I know that's a lot of words there, but quite frankly, single pane of glass, multiple channels, whether it be chat, SMS, voice, social, other social messaging, goes into one place. And I'm going to show you a demo here in just in a second. But as a result, when omnichannel is anchored in those shared data and case continuity places, customers experience, service as one conversation and not many disconnected interactions that we have with them. So really, omnichannel service is not about more channels. It's about fewer disconnects. By bridging those islands of data, you as organizations can unlock better customer experiences, higher retention and first call resolution, greater efficiency and personalization, and real-time insight, and brand consistency, all while creating a scalable foundation for AI-led agent-assisted service models. So what I want to do here is I'm going to go into my second demo here. So along with the same one, I want to kind of start this, and this one's going to be very, very similar. Hopefully I've got you guys can let me know when you can start hearing some of the noise, but this one's going to come in very similar, but now it's going to come in through voice.
Hi there. Thanks for calling today. My name is Agent Q, and I can help you with questions about devices, answer questions about your order, and many other things. How can I help you today?
Hi, I wanted to check on the status of an order that I placed last week.
For security reasons, I'd like to confirm the email address associated with the order, please.
dtm4@outlook.com.
I found one open order with the following details. Order name, Surface Laptop. Order ID, WARDY01022P5P9V1. Expected ship date, March 4th, 2026.
I would like
Shipping
to
method,
expedite that order.
In order to perform certain tasks, such as expediting an order, we need to connect you with a live service representative. I am transferring you now. Thank you for your time today.
Good evening, Dana. My name is Josh. Thanks for calling today. It looks like you're trying to get an order expedited. Is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay. So I see an order here for a Surface laptop that's scheduled to ship out on March 4th. Just so I'm clear about what you're asking for, did you want to have the order date moved up, or were you looking to change the method by which it was shipping to something other than ground, something like overnight?
I wanted to do overnight.
Okay, I certainly can help you with that. One thing to be aware of is that we do have a $25 charge for overnight shipping. Is that going to be okay with you?
What? Let's just keep it where it is.
Okay, so we'll keep it with standard shipping. You should get that within 2 to 3 days once it ships out here on the 4th. Is there anything else that I can help you with today?
While I have you on the line, I have a Surface laptop, and almost every time I use it, it gets a blue screen or freezes up, and it's super annoying.
Oh, that sounds annoying. I'm sorry to hear that you're having that problem. Have there been any steps that you've tried to troubleshoot the issue on your own at this point?
Just powering it on and off.
Okay. When your laptop freezes or shows the blue screen, do you see any error codes or messages on the screen at all?
No.
Okay. So, Dana, I've got some steps that I can send out to you to try to resolve the freezing and the blue screen issues on your Surface. There's probably 5 or 6 of them all totaled in this list that I'm going to send out. And if it's okay with you, I'll email them to dtm4@outlook.com.
Once that was completed now, as I said, everything's recorded and transcribed here. Now, from a QA perspective, I can pull this up, as a supervisor, look at all my different conversations that I've had here. And I just want to kind of stop this just for a second here. Again, this is all out of the box. Okay, day one, not additional third parties here, not additional licensing. This is all the Microsoft, capabilities that it stands today. So I've got the whole full transcription here. It's, it automatically did sentiment analysis for me. It's giving me the transcript, a summary of the information. What are some of the call metrics that are on it here? And I can kind of scroll through here and you can kind of see there's areas where it's low. But what I really want to kind of show here as part of the QA agent that Apanya was talking about before, here it is. Now I've just kind of opened it up. It'll read through that and do some QA for you. It'll evaluate that entire conversation and give them scoring capabilities. How was your all the way down to opening greeting. What was the context? How did you troubleshoot? All of that is all provided right here for reporting capabilities. Okay. And like I said, that's not additional third parties. That is not additional licensing. There it is. As we turn that voice channel on, these are the capabilities. Okay. I want to be very, very clear on that. And there's the intent evaluation survey on it. So really as you can kind of see right there, the customer service agent did not have to at all take any additional notes. It created the case, looked up the order, pulled up the case, the customer information, and the QA agent at the end gave me a really great overview so I can, help my agents to become better. Okay. Let me switch over now here. Okay. So with that, I want to change it back over to you, Greg.
Yeah. Great stuff. And again, when we talk about shaving off seconds in a contact center, those seconds add up to millions of dollars. We talked about intelligent routing, transcription, wrapping a call, first call resolution. All those are compounded benefits of the Microsoft ecosystem from that standpoint. So we're going to do another poll real quick. Or actually, I think we're done on the polls. So we're going to move into the fireside chat piece. So if we just want to forward to the next slide, we'll go ahead and get started. So again, just as a reminder, we are going to send this recording out. We are going to send the PDF out. We'll re-record the sound for the demo sections. And then if anyone has any questions in addition, please feel free to put them in the chat window. We'll try to get to as many as we can. So the first question is, I go back to Apanya, conversational generative agentic AI, 3 years. What are you going to do next? What's the next big thing for you? I mean, what excites you from a future trend perspective?
That's such a wonderful question, Greg, because we as leaders have to be at least 6 to 8 months ahead of the industry in this AI world, right? I see more and more customers and organizations graduating from co-pilots to co-workers, wherein AI agents are being more used as like digital laborers and co-workers. That's one shift I'm seeing for sure, both in the product strategy vision perspective and as well as what is resonating well with the customers and the market, because that's where the true dollar savings would be. The second key thing that I'm seeing is that we have been focused on automating and identifying workflows a lot. That is going to get shifted from workflows to goals and KPIs that matter to the business. So that's going to be the next trend that we will see, right? And the last one, which is already in the making, by the way, is from single bots and agents to agent swarms, wherein these agents talk to each other, orchestrate with each other, and do the job. This is already in the making. I have seen quite a bunch now. So essentially, the future trend is like from co-pilots to co-workers, from workflows to actual business goals, and from single agents to agent swarms. All that is what is I foresee in the future trend. We are not just here automating clicks and tasks. We are delegating the tasks. That is the meta point out here, and that will be the future.
Yeah, great point of view on that front. John, what say you? Any color commentary?
Yeah, just to kind of add on to that, this piece is evolving so fast, and it's thrilling to see how it's shifted from the very simple chatbots, almost kind of like a Q&A, and you had to set up, those pieces to truly autonomous systems that act like those digital teammates by we had a question in there about MCP, and those protocols, adding those data protocols to other applications and other data sources by simply pointing to those data sources or websites, things that you control, okay, to not be, like a chat GTP, it's your own internal data. That can really kind of help things really evolve. Another major shift or adoption, I think, is more architectural. Organizations are really realizing that these agentic AI scales best on unified platforms, not just kind of stitched together in stacks. We're seeing strong momentum, towards consolidated CRM and CCaaS platforms, shared data models that agents can operate on, but where we've got built-in governance, compliance, and observatory to kind of make it easier to deploy agents a lot safer and consistently, and even at the enterprise scale.
Yeah. Just to add on top of that, it's the speed at which we're transforming. Every time I wake up, Apanya has something new that she's throwing out there and just adding value from that standpoint. But for me, it comes down to the business outcomes, right? How do we drive down OpEx? How do we increase revenue uplift, through this transformational shifts? And, Apanya talked about swarming on teams, right? John talked about MCP from a heterogeneous agent environmental or environment perspective, really digging deep to get those business outcomes. And again, as I think we've all mentioned, it all starts with data. So again, it's the correlation of the Microsoft ecosystem to drive the business outcomes and the speed at which the Microsoft product team is deploying these assets, these accelerators, the environments and agent and agentic AI components is fun to watch, is fun to be part of. And again, I'm sure everybody's getting thrown requirements around agentic AI. So just take a breath, everything will be okay. Start with the use case and then just take it gradually from there. So great stuff on that front. So on the next one, we'll move into the next question. As we continue to shift in this agentic AI world, again, as I mentioned earlier, things are getting thrown at us daily. What are the best practices do you recommend for our audience today on how to deliver an agentic AI strategy? John, I'll have you start with you, and then we'll move into Apanya. So, John, over to you.
Yeah, Greg, I'm just going to kind of take what you just said before. I absolutely agree. You start small. Scale smart. List out those 4 to 6 best practices, and with steps or use cases that you want to deploy with, right? Emphasizing your governance and end with an ROI focus, right? So when we look at it's about building a solid foundation, that aligns with your business. And some of the top things that I recommend, across all of our organizations is align with clear business goals with high impact use cases. Greg, you just said it before. Just really kind of focus on, just a handful. We don't have to like boil the ocean right away. Look at what it is. AI, in some areas, depending on where you are with it and your maturity, levels, great. Also starts off with, measurable impact there. Build a trusted data foundation, and an orchestration layer. As we look at, agentic AI thrives on quality data. So absolutely, as best practices, it's gonna, not as a bad thing, but it's gonna identify areas where, garbage in, garbage out. So that's not a bad thing. Okay, we know where to go fix, some of those, because you can introduce different data sources to your agents at different levels to identify some of those things. And if something's not lining up correctly, remove them and retest them. But also prioritize your governance, ethics, and experimentation across all these different systems. As I just said, we have the tools called Copilot Studio allows us to easily test any one of these before we actually publish it to either internal or external sources. And really kind of finally, measure the outcomes beyond the tasks. Focus on quality and redesigning, processes. It's really about automating. These agents can really help automate a lot of these processes. And that's, it's some of the things that I truly put out there.
Yeah, no, great feedback, John. And just add two components when driving agentic AI strategies within your organization. You have to drive balance, and what I mean by that is people, process, technology, automation, the PPT, PPA model. If you focus on one and not the other two, then you have an unbalanced equilateral triangle, and that impacts quality in the middle. So bring that balanced approach into every discussion. Make it about the people, the process, and the technology. In addition, organizational alignment consensus. If you do not have that, you're going to have a bunch of speedboats going in a bunch of different directions, and you're not going to get to the end state. So how do you get that organizational alignment consensus? Use cases, I promise you, are the place to start, because it will highly make visible all the dependencies, right? If you're an insurance company and you're using Guidewire, there's Guidewire, dependencies, healthcare, TriZetto, manufacturing, F&O, and then you have multiple ISVs and segments and people and process and business units and everything in between. Those use cases will help uncover those so that you understand how to mitigate the risk. So bring balance, organizational alignment, consensus, rally the teams through use cases, and then bring people in early and often. So we got time for one more question. We'll go ahead and lean into that. And then, what mindset shifts do leaders need to make to successfully guide their teams through AI adoption? And Apanya, John, y'all both, talk to customers. We all talk to customers on a daily basis. So I'm curious, what are you hearing in the real world, Apanya?
First and foremost is business goals. Pivot everything on business goals, not on minute individual features. Hey, I want this, I want that. Like, gone are those days. What are the business goals? That is a mindset shift we all need to make, especially if you're a tech leader, because if you're not that close to business and the goals that matter to business, it's going to be not a good situation. The second mindset shift that I see is from moving from certainty to an experimentation model. AI is evolving very rapidly. In the previous eras, wherein there was a lot of deterministic processes, deterministic workflows, the certainty was something that you were aiming for, right? In the world of AI, the mindset shift that we need to make is when you identify the scenarios for AI application, you need to find the scenarios where you can move from certainty to an experimentation model, right? And the other key thing that I would say when it comes to mindset shift is that if you're waiting that AI will get matured and after that I'll get into this train of AI, that is the biggest risk you're taking. You got to start as soon as possible. You were supposed to start yesterday. If not yesterday, start it as soon as possible. Yeah. The third key thing that I would say when it comes to mindset shift is we are seeing a lot of fear, apprehension that AI is going to take the job, and that fear exists across the board, across different layers, right? So one thing that I would love for us to think about is intelligence will be commoditized with AI. So intelligence can be delegated to AI agents and AI, right? But wisdom to make the right choices, right judgments, to figure out what matters to your business, that wisdom cannot be delegated to AI. That's where human skills will evolve. That's where human input will evolve. So the mindset shift we need to make is that when we are identifying opportunities for the application of AI, start with friction, not with fascination. That's what I keep saying. Like there's a lot of AI fascination, but if you start with AI fascination, it's all tech jargon. But if you start with the friction by picking up a very narrow, painful, measurable problem first, and see how you can delegate the intelligence part of it to AI, the action part of it to AI, but keep the wisdom with you as to what is that narrow path where you want to apply AI, and then how do you put the guardrails, that wisdom of guardrails, and prioritizing guardrails, designing for guardrails before you put the autonomy, because that's what will help you build trust on AI. And that mindset shift remains with humans. So that's why I say, like, a lot of intelligent pieces you can delegate to AI, and don't be afraid of delegating to AI, because that's what will give you the scale. But the places of wisdom, where wisdom needs to be applied in selecting the scenarios, in thinking about the guardrails, in thinking about what matters to your business, focus on those and keep that wisdom judgment calls with humans. That's the mindset shift which will help organizations go faster, better, and in a more impactful way.
Yeah, absolutely. Love it. John, 30 seconds, over to you.
Yeah, not much really to add to there, Apanya. I completely agree. It's less about the tech and more about the people. The biggest mind shift there is moving from seeing AI as a threat or a tool to a partner that amplifies, the human potential. I mean, ultimately, with transparency to boost the confidence and adoption, you'll not only guide your team, but you will definitely start to inspire them.
Yeah, and just that, I mean, have realistic expectations, but more importantly, have fun. The industry's transforming. This is exciting. We haven't seen anything like this in decades. So have fun, set realistic expectations, and feel free to reach out with any questions. So we'll go ahead and close out on the next slide. One thing before we do, just want to mention that there is, Microsoft does have ESIF, to where we can do POCs and pilots. Reach out to your Microsoft selling team, your AE or SSP. They can help move some of these next steps forward for you. So with that said, thank you, everyone, for participating. We appreciate the time investment that you've made on behalf of CompuSoft Digital and Microsoft. Go get them. Have fun. Let's innovate, and talk soon. Thanks, y'all.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, folks.
All right. Well done. Another